Minutes from the 30th of November.
I will accept them. They look good to me, what I remember happened.
So do I have a motion to accept? Second,
A second.
all those in favor say aye. Okay. First up is a revised financial administration budget.
This one, I'm just bringing back to you because the utility appraiser informed me that this is the year they'll be picking up the cell towers. There's 4 of them. And he recommended I add an extra $10,000 to the appraisal line. And then if there's any money left over, he'll be returned to you guys. But so I had to revise that budget to incorporate that.
Is this for our appraisal for coming for years?
Some of it's for our utility, George
Oh,
Spencer.
yes, George. Okay.
Yes, a lot of
Okay.
communities have left DRA. DRA used to do our utility values and cell towers.
Since he's been doing it for years.
So we've kind of left and we actually collect more revenue doing it this way.
Mhm.
So I'm bringing that back because of his recommendation.
Okay, any discussion? Moving on to personnel administration.
That's pretty much staying the same, other than Social Security, Medicare. Retirement will be fine because our rates are actually dropping, the contribution rates are lowering them for the next half. Health insurance, we're fine because we are going to be, one of our policies, they used to be able to pick for 2. One will be eliminated, we'll only have 1 policy. Co-pays are gonna go up, there's some different adjustments, and for the minimal amount that it's gonna be, we always carry a little extra because we don't, sometimes we have some changes going on, dynamics within families, so that's that.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, moving on to planning budget.
Planning, the bottom line's the same, they just restructured how they were appropriating.
Any discussion or questions? Moving on to cemetery budget.
Oh, you know what? I just recognized on that budget, we didn't put that up 8%.
We don't need to on this one.
We don't, okay.
No, I think you're gonna be fine on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. I did.
Yep.
All right, Cheryl's taking over from here, I believe.
Okay,
Or you want, I mean, I
Yeah.
can, do you want to tag team it or?
yeah, we can tag team it. So basically, with the cemetery, the wages are, include the 8%. And then everything else, besides the cemetery shed. If I remember correctly, Kippy and John, the trustees came to us and recommended having a shed, to store some of the tools and some of the products that keep the cemetery up. And so we priced it out and 5,000 should cover that.
We're gonna pull 5 from the existing capital reserve, plus we're doing work on the roads down there. So we're gonna, I think there's close to 10 in there. We're gonna pull 5 from that, appropriate 5, and then that'll leave them a little more, little for the roads and leave a balance in the capital reserve.
Is that cemetery full? Or maybe that's left?
There's some. We have a lot of 6 lots. But the way Mike, Bill, Steve, the trustees, when they went down, where they want to put this shed or how they want to put it in, it will, I believe it's going to replace the one there, but if they can do it how they want, they're going to gain some sites, they believe. Is what I was told, or they're hopeful to at least gain a couple more lots. We have a lot of 6 lots. I don't know. That's
They can't be broken up.
No, because the way the lots are subdivided. They're working on that though, Bill and trustees and Might try to get a layout, see if there's something we can do with them.
But they've already been sold, right?
No,
Oh,
not the
they
six,
haven't.
not the six lots.
Oh, so maybe.
People aren't having that size families anymore.
Yeah,
And a lot
that's
of them
the
being
thing.
cremated.
And a lot of
so you
Yeah,
don't
a lot of
need it.
people, yeah, that they don't go in the ground, so.
Well, maybe you've got a couple of families that really like each other, like the Towers and the Morrises, you guys can all get
The
buried.
problem is you only have one headstone. You have multiple flat stones, but you can only have one headstone. So that's where it's
One
been-
half, one on one side and one on the other.
Tower and Morse, they're short last names.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
So
hyphenated.
those are all,
Maybe that deal in the stone, I don't know.
they're talking about and meeting about and stuff now, but very few. 3 lots, maybe a handful. A couple 2 lots and the rest are big lots. We're actually now adding to the hedgeway that we removed 2 lot graves, so.
The one on 175, will that be in the same sort of thing that they'll be 6 lot, 4 lot, or will be
That is a
individually?
lot of work.
It's in
Very,
flood
it's
zone
very,
right now,
very
right?
wet.
It is,
Mhm.
Mm.
that land's wet?
That
Yeah,
really is
you drive
very
by
wet.
there when it rains, it's all
So-
puddled up.
I'm not sure what's gonna come of that.
Oh.
They have had some work done there, I don't know.
I'll have
It
to
needs
pay
it will need a lot of work
attention.
before people
It's
can,
ledge in that.
there is ledge, yep.
Yeah, especially like in the spring, if you drive by, you see it's all cleaned up.
What are the wages in here? Is this for the mowing and for Bill? Cause doesn't Bill? do
It's for
stuff?
everybody. It's for the guys when they do anything cemetery related. It's for Steve Welch. It's for anyone, any of them. that
Okay,
have
as long as
money.
they're working down in either
Yeah.
or this cemetery.
Any of the
too.
cemeteries.
Okay,
We have Parker Ledge, we have this one, we have the one down when they're mowing the proposed cemetery lot. We have Steve's hours.
And do these wages include when they're digging their grave?
No.
Oh,
They do not
that's done by,
privately done. It's
by
Bill,
Bill, doesn't it?
depends, Bill will call and help too,
Yeah.
sometimes, depends on what it is, but that's taken care of through Bill and the funeral home.
oh, okay, so the people that died pay for that,
Yes,
okay.
that has nothing, this is strictly cemetery
Just
maintenance,
Yeah.
yep. And upkeep, yeah.
Any more discussion or questions? Okay, next up is the highway budget.
So highway reflects in the payroll, it represents the 8%. You'll find that the operating expenses are budgeted the same for this coming year. Capital outlay for the sidewalks. The highway department will be doing about 300 feet of sidewalk on South Main Street. We're looking at last year we had, to kind of balance the budget, we had dropped a lot of the capital reserves down. And so, but things like highway maintenance and vehicles and stuff like that need to come back up so that we're keeping up with what we need to have invested. So that's why you'll see that's come back up to 50,000. Highway block grant is what it is. And then paving. You'll see that the highway had proposed 40,000. We think we can use some of the money in the capital reserve with the highway block grant to offset that. And so that's why the selectmen proposed it to be down to 20,000. We got some extra money in that capital reserve that can absorb that difference.
And we don't have to pay, remind me on this one. The highway block grant money, do we have to use that up in 1 year or so many years?
That's
We
why
did-
we did the capital
But that's why
reserve.
we did the capital reserve.
Put it in.
It used to be a line item, but you couldn't roll it over.
And then you could
It's supposed
encumber
to-
for so long and then you
Mhm.
couldn't, so now. We created a capital reserve that transfers that
I just want, I
and then,
just trying to remember that too. refresh me.
so this year you have. You'll see when you're going through, well, you won't see it right now, but at the end, we received a one-time highway block grant payment of. 50,000, 40, it's a good chunk of money, no, 29 something.
Yeah.
That could not be rolled over into the capital reserve and had to be expended, but it's already expended because we had paving projects that were already happening on class 5 roads, so. that took, that's gonna be applied to those, one of those. Other than that,
So the sidewalk is down by Rustic River, that side of the
they're
road.
still working on that side.
Yeah.
They encumbered 2 years worth, 2 years. So we didn't have to appropriate last year. Because we couldn't, A, COVID, B, we couldn't get people to come, to do it. And then, so they did 600 feet roughly this year.
Wow.
Now we're back down to the 300, and that was all encumbered money.
And it looks amazing when the sidewalks get redone.
It
Oh, yeah,
does.
It just gives it a whole fresh. look.
Yeah,
We wish you could do it more and more often, but.
I think the big paving project this year, we were hoping to this year, but the people couldn't fit it in was, it will be Center Street. Center Street needs a lot of work and holes and.
okay, next up, water budget.
So the payroll includes the 8%. And then we're looking at operating expenses are flat. But last year we had budgeted up significantly last year on the electricity, so we figured based on what we've spent this year, that will cover that. And then the capital reserve water department, we continue to put in that 120, and that those type of things cover any like major water breaks or issues or anything like that. So besides payroll, you're looking at a pretty flat budget for water.
And the payload, is that like the cemeteries? Do our guys do that?
Yeah, there's a portion of it, so they have chores and they
Yeah.
help with testing, all and the alarms go off and all that.
When they have curb shut off, or when they're
Right.
called to anything they do, whether they're, mowing the wells, that's charged to water, a lot of people don't realize how much time they actually do, and it all washes in the end, so we just try to the best we can to.
Average it out across 52 weeks.
Does the ice castles pay for water?
Oh, yes, yes, oh, yeah. Yep.
Any more questions or discussion for water budget? Moving on to sewer budget.
So sewer again, payroll is the 8%. You'll see sewer operating expenses is up a little bit. That I can't.
That was because of the trucking, the
That's right,
lamprey
that's right.
trucking and the fuel, they increased their prices.
And that's that includes contracted services.
Yep, same thing, they went up
Yeah.
7% to. Because of the cost of everything, travel and all of that.
And then your capital reserve is been consistent at the 50,000. So
And we believe that the sewer rates will be able to. We think we can sustain where we
Yep.
are.
we can keep it where it is.
Going down to expenses for this year already. How come on contracted services? They've still got like 24,000.
Because I have 2 invoices still.
That have to go out.
Yeah.
And then the sewer operating expenses.
Mhm.
What is that? Is that for chemicals?
It's for everything that runs through there.
So
Trucking, lamprey, all their day-to-day operations run through that account.
So the contracted services is just for Welch's to come down here, right?
Welch's, and then there's a little bit extra in there in case we need to have like an engineer, Horizon come, but 90%, 95% of that is Welch's.
On the contracted services.
Everything else runs through the operating.
What is, okay, this is the question. I'm reading this wrong. How come there's a sewer expense in oh, because you need water to go through that. Okay, I answered my own question.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the water and sewer, they're paying the other funds.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then everything else chemicals, I don't know, she has all kinds of stuff down there.
That we buy.
Yep.
So our contracted services is just for them to come down there and maintain the sewer treatment plant. We buy all our own
And-
chemicals, we buy all our own everything.
everything, all the trucking,
Trucking to clean.
all that
outlets.
stuff. then we pay it to go. It goes down, it gets trucked down to
Ashland.
Plymouth,
It's Plymouth,
and we
yeah,
get, there's a bill for that, and
That's
and
gone.
of course fuel surcharges are.
Yeah.
Anybody's pumped a septic tank lately. It's about doubled in the last 2 years.
yeah,
Mhm.
Been great since everybody.
they do a good job. They received the town of Woodstock received the national award for best wastewater facility.
Really?
Yep, they were honored, so our guys and Kathy were honored.
Nice.
And there was a big, they were supposed to have a big celebration to honor them or this last, but then COVID hit, COVID hit, then they postponed it, then they did it. Was it last year, 2021?
I can't remember, I thought
But
it
they
was
were
this spring,
on,
to be
maybe it
honest with
was,
you, that we.
time gets away from me, but they were on the treatment magazine, and it was EPA who recognized them.
That's cool,
So it was quite an honor for them all.
right?
Any more discussion or questions about the sewer budget? Okay, moving on to the parks budget.
Parks is pretty much just the 8% in payroll. Everything else stays the same.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, moving on to health administration.
You want me to, I'll keep going?
You tell me when you want me to.
No, I don't mind.
Okay, thanks.
You'll see pretty much there, all the top upper ones are the same. As you go move down, we did have a request for the bird project that came in significantly higher than last year. And so we reduced that down to the 3,000 level at which we do like for Jean's Playhouse and pretty close to the Bridge House. And what we've been talking, Judy and I have been talking about is implementing, there's a like a donation form that folks can submit, are standardizing it where they have to submit not just a letter, but like a certain amount of financial information and how the money is being used in our community.
What they're receiving from other communities.
Right.
So we're hoping to have that in place for next year, where when a letter comes in, they'll get this form sent to them, and
And we complete that,
we'll start to see.
streamline it a little bit
Yeah.
more, and then be able to really justify it with how much is. And we may find that, one of these might need to be adjusted up a little bit, because our community is using the services quite a bit. So,
Any more discussion or questions? Okay, moving on to the library budget, which is as it is.
Besides
My
the
library.
8%. It's pretty much flat.
And there's really nothing we can do about it.
This is true.
It's their budget.
It is.
By
They
law,
did, they do a nice job though. People were
Yeah.
happy.
Okay, next up, revised patriotic purposes.
Yeah, I had, when I was here the last time, I had told you that, the fireworks contract was gonna increase. It went from 1,200 to 1,500, so I just adjusted the budget for our half of that. I went from 6,000 to 7,500.
12,000.
Yeah, 12,000, thank you.
I was like, wait a minute, why did they, why is it 500?
Yeah,
The increase was 1,500.
so I think I told you, but I wanted to bring it back to you in black and white, so you. You're welcome.
Any discussion or questions? Moving on to principal and interest.
This is what it is your fire truck and the new highway garage payment on the principal. And then on interest, it's the interest on the fire truck. And there's 2 interest payments on the highway garage that happen, one in February and one in August. And then your cans and bonds are,
Which garage is that? Is that Avery's?
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were still paying for something.
No, actually, we're set to tentatively auction. The old firehouse, the public works garage, and a piece of property that we took by tax deed on January 21st.
Oh,
That's our tentative date.
Okay, next up, capital reserves.
So I just wanted to bring forth, these are the capital reserves that we fund, that you guys, they're not tied to a budget, that you don't see within the budget. And this is the recommendation, from the Board of Selectmen on these last few capital reserves.
So if you folks recall, on the solid waste facility improvements capital reserve, we have gone up to 15,000 for a couple years in a row. So that we can catch up to the investments that Lincoln have been making. And then we had talked about after we had caught up to go back to the 10,000 a year.
We don't think Lincoln's got any new plans over there,
Not that we've
or
been,
scales or.
not
Not
that
that
we've
we-
been told about it.
But I have to say, the area is very clean.
Oh, yeah, it looks great.
It looks awesome.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Very
Yeah.
much neater and.
Yeah.
The scales work great.
And the skills are definitely recouping the money.
Mhm.
So
They-
their investment.
Yeah. Yeah, they do work great.
It's not gonna happen overnight, but. So that's why we had recommended going back down to the 10,000. You may have to adjust it in coming years, but
Town buildings, you're putting in. I don't know what time it is.
40,000.
$45,000, 40,000 more.
We've always appropriated 40,000. Last year, we dropped it to 5.
right.
We're bringing it back to where it was in a little, because we have some projects to do, some roofs to do, there's
In
some,
this building?
no,
All town.
all,
buildings.
this is for all town
Oh, okay.
buildings, everything
Okay.
that the town owns. If
Okay.
a furnace was to die, you know, if garage doors were to break, you know, anything.
The money that comes from the auction of those properties, where would that money go?
Those will be set in an account, and that account will be used to make the payments on the highway garage every year. What type of account that is, I'm not sure. It will either be a CD, it will either be a trust fund, or it will be a capital reserve account. We're not sure. DRA is working. Well, they'll let us know how they want it. But so each of them will come in. And then we will use that to pay down the principal until it's gone.
So every year we won't have to. put money
You'll
in
see
the
money,
budget for it.
you're gonna see it appropriated, but you're gonna see it come in on the revenue side of it as well. So it will offset it to offset that payment.
Be interesting to see what those billings from what.
It will be
I've
interesting.
had a lot of people asking.
There's a lot of interest.
Really?
In that, you know, one on the corner?
Yeah, we take calls
Really?
of both of them. We take, I bet you at least two, 3, sometimes 5 a week.
So what?
Waiting for them.
But there's no park.
The old firehouse and the public works garage down by the river.
Oh,
So if they, when they do that, are they gonna know that we need to keep that shed there?
The public works garage will be auctioned with a condition of June 1st.
Yes, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
oh, the one down by the river.
right, because that's
Yeah,
where our
well,
salt
yeah.
shed is.
And the
Yeah.
fire station.
So that one, that's the only one.
Floodplain?
It is. I mean, there's potential there for it. And I mean, as long as they're operating with the structure that they have. And they're not doing anything like we do. It'll be okay. There's a lot of people that abut it, that it's useful too. I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard many different ideas for it, which I think they could pull off.
Okay, so. Any more discussion on the capital reserves? Next up, all the budgets have now been presented. Do we want to cancel the Wednesday, December 4th meeting?
14th. So
No,
next week's meeting.
14th. Do I have a motion to cancel?
Oh, make a motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
So, oh, sorry.
So the next meeting will be January 4th. We're going to review these.
Yes, and I will, if they keep changing, I can already tell you because I've looked at. I'm not sure, like their budget that they're saying from. For solid waste last year, no, yeah. I had like 253, they're showing 251, not that that matters. But I had a different budget for last year than they have. So I don't know if they made, maybe they made some changes after we finalized ours and we never received a copy of them. But these are preliminary, so you guys can start reviewing them. As they change. Or as I get copies, I will re-upload them. And then I figure that you guys meet with them on the 8th. So you got the January 4th, January 11th, and then you go over there on the 18th. I think I said 8th, but I meant 18th. So I figure at the 4th, I should have a pretty good, you'd have a pretty good overview of your budget. I'll have that spreadsheet ready. You'll have these. And then that gives me a week. If you have any questions, I can try to get them by the 11th.
Okay. Anything else to come before the meeting today? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
So we are not meeting till the new year.